And welcome back, everyone, to the second official episode of Kicking It With Deeley. Here we are with Darius Malbon, who I've been very fortunate to know for a while now. We attended Lees-McCray College together, going back a few years now. Darius, welcome, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Appreciate you having me on the show. It's great to be able to be on here with you. Who would have ever thought that back in college we would be doing a podcast later on? So it's great.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't have thought so. Definitely for myself, putting myself out there in a position like this is definitely out of my comfort zone. But like you know a lot about, kind of, I think you've done some similar things, and you're all about putting yourself, in more difficult positions in order to help others. So appreciate you doing that too, Darius.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your background. I know you're a Hickory local, of course. We live in the same town, but would love to hear a little bit about that, man.
Yeah, so just growing up, Hickory native, I went to Northview Middle School, went to Hickory High School. So I pretty much bleed the Hickory blood. Hickory High School, we were pretty good. I played basketball there. We was able to make it to the state championship my junior year of high school. That was phenomenal. We played at Chapel Hill. So just having that experience from a basketball standpoint, being able to play in front of thousands of people playing in the Dean Dome, being able to have that whole atmosphere. It was definitely a great experience that I will keep in my memories for the rest of my life. In terms of school, I did a lot of different things. I was very, very involved in the community, did IB, AP classes, Orange classes. I really took my school serious back in high school. And then I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to play basketball at Lees-McCray College, where I played basketball there for 4 years. And I don't know if you know this, Tom, but as of right now, I still have the record for the highest free throw percentage at Lees-McCray. So I broke the record there.
I
And
did not know that. A little fun fact for our
yes,
followers there. There we go.
absolutely. And what's crazy about that is it takes me back to a story back when I was very young. I remember I was about 10 years old playing travel basketball. And we was playing a really good team, and we was going back and forth, and it was a tie game. And guess what? I got fouled. And I had an opportunity to just make one free throw to win the game. I had four free throws. And if I would have made one free throw, we would have won the game. And I missed all four free throws. After the second one, I was devastated. Then my confidence could not get back up. I missed the third one, the fourth one. And after that, I fouled out and we lost the game. And that changed my whole perspective. And after I did that, I made sure I made my free throws. And you see what happens in college now.
There
And
we
was
go.
able to break the record.
I think that experiences like that, right? Like they always lead to something. It probably defined you in some sort of way, and you're never going to be the guy to miss a free throw when it mattered again. So no, I love that. What do you think attracted you to Leeds McCray? Because it's a different school to what some perceive, I guess, especially overseas for myself, as the American college experience, right? Where you hear about these crazy parties and the huge fraternities, large classes, massive lecture halls. Whereas at Leeds McCray, the small class sizes, definitely not large parties. We had a good time and whatnot for sure, but definitely a different environment. What sort of maybe attracted you to that?
Absolutely. Well, basketball was definitely the thing that attracted to me. And being able to come from a good school in high school in terms of the basketball and how well we did, and being able to provide that experience at Lees-McCray was something that I wanted to do because at the time, Lees-McCray wasn't necessarily known for basketball. And when we were playing there, we had a really good team, and fortunately, we were able to break the school record in wins 2 years in a row. So that was great, being able to be a part of that. But being on a small campus helped me, to be honest with you, and a lot of people don't think this about me. Most people think I'm an extrovert. I'm really more of an introvert. So going to a small school allowed me to figure out who I was, allowed me to know who I was a little bit more deeply, being able to find some meaning in some of these deeper relationships on campus. And to be honest with you, the first 2 years was tough because it was so small. And to be honest with you, Lees-McCray was smaller than my high school. But by the time I became a junior, I really appreciated what Lees-McCray had to offer in terms of the smaller setting, being able to have that true relationship with your teachers, with the students on campus, with the different teams on campus, and the different faculty, because you don't get that opportunity when you go to a college with 40, 50, 60, 70,000 students there. And that's not even including all the teachers and the employees that work there as well. So having that experience allowed me to figure out who I was. And then on top of that, Lees-McCray is beautiful. The campus is nice. It has more history than you would expect. And then on top of that, the views, the mountains, the hills, the green. I remember one time, I'm a basketball player, but one of the days for practice, we chose to play soccer. I know you're a soccer guy, so don't challenge
Kick the
me.
ball,
I'm
kick
not
the
gonna.
ball around a little bit in my life. Yeah.
I'm about to say I barely could get it into the goal, but we played soccer as a basketball team, and just to think about being able to be outside on the field and then see the views of the mountains and the hills and the green, I'm like, you can't get that everywhere. It was a great experience.
Yeah. No, I love that. And then, something that, of course, we want to talk about is at Lees-McCray, you obviously did have some challenges as well that you're very open about, with the book that you've written, which, shout out to you for being so brave to obviously address what you went through personally. And then also, your goal of really helping other people, that are maybe going through something similar. We know that people go through this stuff and often don't talk about it until it's too late. So, um, would love for you to kind of share, you know, what you went through a little bit and then how your goal is to now help other people deal with a similar thing.
Absolutely. So thank you about that opportunity and allowing me to share that. So suicide is a tough topic. It's very sensitive, but believe it or not, a lot of people go through that experience. As of right now, or back in 2023, I should say, according to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in the U.S., with 135 people taking their life each day back in 2023. And then in 2023, there were 1.5 million suicide attempts. So a lot of people try to take their life or have taken their life. And a little bit of my experience, I grew up in Hickory, have both my parents, have a beautiful sister as well, great family, did well in school, had a great support system, did well in sports. I never thought I would ever have that experience. I'm just being honest with you. And I remember talking to my mother when I was 7 years old, which why was I even thinking about that at seven? Don't know. But I remember at 7 years old asking my mom, why would anybody want to take their life? Life is so beautiful. It's great. Why would anybody want to do that? Not knowing I would have my own experience several years down the road. And a little bit of my experience, and I've shared this before with people, it was different than what I thought it would be. Because with most people, I thought suicide was something that they thought about for months, years, decades.
Hmm.
For me, it happened in a matter of a few minutes. And to be specific, it actually happened on Christmas Day, out of all days,
Wow.
back when I was in college. And we were coming back from New Jersey, a family ride, had a little argument with my family. Families do that, had a little,
Humans do. Yeah.
and this situation was a little bit different. For some reason, it was like a dark cloud just consumed my life. Never experienced it in my life before. It was like all I could see was darkness in my mind. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of a ocean. That's the best way I can explain it. And it sounds crazy, but to be honest with you, when you're in that mindset, really the only way you feel like you can get out is taking your life. Like you lose all hope. And because of that experience, it really showed me that there's different levels to it in terms of there's people who do think about it consistently, but there's also people who never think about it, and it happens in a matter of seconds or a matter of minutes. And if they're not ready and not careful, that could do something very devastating. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to share my story and to publish my book as well, which I do have that one here. From Darkness to Life, Win the Battle. That is my first book, and it's about my testimony about suicide prevention. And you can get that at dariusmalbon.com. And a portion of the proceeds does go towards suicide prevention research.
No, that's awesome, man. Well, look, I appreciate you, sharing that. We will make sure that the link for the book and all this information is posted, when we release a podcast and everything as well, Darius. And then what we'll also do is at Kicking It With Deeley, we'll give away copies as well, confidentially. So if someone wants to reach out to the Kicking It With Deeley page, it'll be 100% confidential, and we'll be happy to, provide you a book on our cost as well, to hopefully help as many people as we can. And I think what says a lot about you, Darius, is you took this experience, a really tough experience that many people go through, that and probably more that we never hear about. I think we know that's the case. And then you've turned it into, ultimately helping as many people as possible. So appreciate, you for that, and then the ability to speak about it as well. Um, I just think it says a lot. In the same kind of thing, right? A lot lighter of a topic, but hey, you missed the free throws, right? And now you don't miss them anymore. At the end of the day, right? You've been at a really dark moment, and now you've turned it into something that's going to help a lot of people. I know very different topics, but still the same process, I guess, on some level.
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's the beauty of life. Everybody has a different hand of cards. Everybody's in a different situation, and what we have to do with it is maximize it to the best of our ability. And not to get too biblical, but there is a scripture in the Bible or a parable in the Bible where it talks about the story of the talents, where the master gives three different individuals a different amount of talents or money. And basically, the story showcases what each individual did with what they had. And two of them did well, and one of them did not. And the person who did not was punished. So I think that's a really good way to connect what you have in life and being able to turn that around and maximize its potential to help people.
No, I love it, Darius. Um, Now I want to change gears slightly here, because you have a really unique, I'll call it, outlet for fun that I do want to make sure that we touch on. Do you want to talk a little bit about your roller coaster adventure and your travel and that type of stuff?
Yes, yes, it's fun. Go ahead, ask me some questions.
Yeah. So how many roller coasters have you ridden to, like, lifetime to date?
Ooh, that's a great question. So in the past 2.5 years, basically I did a 3-year tour, and this is year three. So far in my 3-year tour, I have ridden over 176 roller coasters. In terms of all time, I haven't kept track with that, but I'm assuming it'll be closer to 190. But let's just say I've rode pretty much close to 200 roller coasters so far, I would say.
Yeah. So what sort of, I guess, how did this come about? Like, you just wake up one morning and go, I want to start riding roller coasters, or a bit more thought than that? Like, how did it come about?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to be honest with you, I grew up riding roller coasters here and there with my father, my family. My mother does not like roller coasters, so it was mostly me and my dad. But my family is very adventurous in terms of traveling and doing different things. And to be honest with you, I always felt that roller coasters was a way to challenge myself. And a small fact about me is I actually do not like heights at all. But with that being said, riding roller coasters is a way for me to overcome that challenge of not liking heights. And it allows me to build that courage every single time I go up that lift hill. Because to be honest with you, when you're going up, a 200 foot or a 300 foot or 400 foot roller coaster, the people on the ground start to look a little different. They start to look a little smaller. trees start to look smaller, things start to look different. So it can be terrifying if you're not used to being up in that altitude or that height. But it's a great way for me to overcome that challenge of not liking heights. It's a way for me to build some adrenaline, and it's a great way to feel like I'm flying. If you ever been on a roller coaster, you feel like you're flying. You get to have a lot of different G forces, and you deal with a lot of different inversions that you're not used to experiencing. So I can see why, some people enjoy flying planes, or some people may even enjoy doing NASCAR and doing race cars because you get that adrenaline of going fast and feeling those G forces. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. And on top of that, it's a great way to travel. It's not only do I go for the theme park and seeing the different food that they have at the theme park, the different roller coasters, but also I'm able to see the city as well that I go to. And I'm able to meet a lot of different people. I'm able to talk to them about suicide prevention. I'm able to talk to them about the Lord. I'm able to build connections with different people. And some of them I'll be able to see again in the future. So it's a great way to get out of your own bubble as well and be able to build some perspective.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm a big traveler myself. I love getting immersed into different cultures and, building new relationships, of course. So I think it's a great outlet. And of course, how many countries do you think? I know you've been on some, I guess, different country travel and whatnot around the world here lately. Share a little bit about that.
So I have traveled out of the U.S. I will be going to Canada very soon, which I'm excited about. And it will be a lovely experience. I'm going to go to Toronto. It'll be my second time in Canada. And they do have a theme park there as well, Canada Wonderland. And they're supposed to be building a roller coaster that should be potentially a top 10 roller coaster in North America. So I'm pretty excited about that. But outside of the roller coasters, I have traveled to a few different places. I've traveled to Mexico. I've traveled to different islands in the Caribbean. I've traveled to Paris, Egypt. I've been to Calgary, Alberta, which is in Canada, but more out west. But all great experiences. I will say one of my favorite experiences was actually going to Canada the first time in Calgary, because that was the first time I was able to communicate with people from all across the world, all in one setting. Basically, we were hosting an event, and it was probably about 600 to 700 people in that neighborhood, and they were all from different parts of the world: Africa, Australia, Asia, Europe, South America, and being able to communicate with all those different types of people, seeing the different languages that they had, the different cultures they had, and also, which was very unique, but listening to how much they knew about America was crazy for me. They knew more about America than I did. And I was like,
Was it good? Was it good or bad?
I think it was good.
It's good.
It was enlightening. They had their opinions about certain stuff, but it was good because they were able to show me what I need to look at in America. And not only that, but it challenged me to go look at other countries and see what they had to offer too. And that's one of the reasons why I do travel now, because they challenge me to get outside of the American bubble and be able to travel the world and be able to see what other people eat, how other people think, the different cultures. And it allowed me to write my third book, to be honest with you. It's called Racial Bridges. I do have it right here as well. But it allowed me to see that there's so many people from a lot of diverse cultures, but at the same time, we're more similar than we think. And it's awesome to be able to see people in that light.
Yeah. No, I think couldn't agree more, man. I think traveling and experiencing those things just helps kind of define you as a person and allow you to see everything from a different perspective. Um, a pleasure having you join us today, Darius, and kind of sharing your background and what you've been through, and again, and just helping other people go through the same thing, and then fun hearing about roller coasters. So
Absolutely.
thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you once again. Anytime you want to have me, please let me know. This is awesome. I'm glad that you're able to do this for people. and be able to bring different perspectives. So thank you for having me.